Live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. We love to help you win in any marketplace, and lots of folks that reach out to the Consumer Advocate Hotline, they experience a lot of that winning because we're connecting them with our 50-plus show partners, CPAs, financial advisors, all types of great attorneys, home service providers, self-defense experts, and more here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone, 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline, 813-750-0550.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Save the hotline number in your phone, consumerqb.com as well, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled and vetted here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, coming up today, we've got Nate Ginter in the house, Chief Technology Officer at Vine IT, vineit.com. Matt DiMaio as well. Some folks call him the memory expert. He likes to be known as an incredible memory.com as the website. Also, youtube.com/Be Smarter Faster. 6.5 million views on one of his top videos. 153,000 YouTube subscribers from Matt as well coming up here on the program. Plus, a feel-good story of the day. We got a literacy event hosted by the police, the Housing Authority, and libraries over in Sarasota. Pretty cool event where they're giving books out to children. So that's a great lineup for you today here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And let's give a quick shout out to the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Is the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort over on Treasure Island. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant. Beautiful rooms where about 90% of the rooms, by the way, overlook the Gulf beaches, the sand, and the beautiful beaches of Treasure Island. And check them out online. Book directly. Clyde Smith, he's the general manager. Make sure you let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And you heard about them right here on the program. Now, as a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, my wife Lindsay and I own a team. We got about 10 folks involved with our team. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air. And we've got a beautiful property on Bel Air on the beaches, 117 14th Street, Bel Air. This is a beautiful property, double lot, pool home. You've got lots of updates, lots of upgrades, jetted bathtub. You got 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, almost 2,800 square feet, private pool, gourmet kitchen, jetted bathtub, temperature-controlled wine closet, covered lanai, and it's just minutes from the beautiful sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, let's make our introductions in studio here first. We got Nate Ginter in the house, our technology expert, all things tech. Welcome back.
Hey, great to be here, Brandon.
Yeah, man. My pleasure. Give us a little teaser.
Yeah, so I got a couple of stories we're going to be going over today. One of which is something that I've been getting asked about a ton. I thought it'd make a great topic for us. What do you do when your laptop is stolen? So a lot of us have, everything from a little mix of personal and professional on our devices these days. So a couple of tips that you can take to protect yourself, some preventative measures that make it way easier to sleep at night after, that's happened to you. Second thing we're going to talk about is we have a little bit of an interesting topic. A lot of people are coming to me, with security concerns about ransomware and just, their general overall business health when it comes to cybersecurity. And but talk a little bit about the first couple of steps you take to begin that journey. A lot of people are very confused how to even get started.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then just kind of a fun one, a little bit about a popular video game that a lot of people probably heard of that just sold for $1.5 million. So
one video game?
One single video game cartridge, $1.5 million.
Wow.
So, your kids may not just be wasting their time.
Yeah, there you go. I gotta go look in the attic now, see what's up there. Cool stuff. All right, also, we're going to go to the phone lines here now as well. We got Matt DiMaio on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brandon, it's always a pleasure to be here. And what a great other guest you've got. I can't wait to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Here we are in the summertime, and a lot of kids are off from school. And at this time of the year, people tend to let their brains turn to mush. They got sand in their head or thinking about the beach or whatever. And it's tough when it's the time to go back to school, to shake the sand out of their head. And so I've got a few tips to be able to, actually, it's even a game that you can play with your kids. I know that you've played it with your daughter on how to keep your memory and your mind really sharp in a fun way. Also, I want to talk a little bit about, for those people out there that are salesmen, 6 steps to being really persuasive. What the process is to become ultra persuasive with other people. So that's some of the stuff I've got for us today.
I love that. 6 steps to becoming very persuasive. That's golden right there, especially if you are in sales. How can you persuade folks to come around to your opinion, to buy the product, to buy the sales that you're looking to make? Let's jump into that, because that's something I always, summertime comes around. You got a good couple of months here over the summer, and I'm constantly telling my daughter, hey, have you read a book today? What have you done to, improve yourself? And, I get this kind of the same response. Oh, come on, Dad, I was on the boat all day or something like that. But what are some tips? Because I know there's a lot of other folks out there, because during the summertime, some kids they're excelling. They're reading 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 books during the summer. And then some are not. They're just kind of saying, they're complacent. What are some things they can do? And I bet you got some stuff on your website and your YouTube channel that can help.
Well, first of all, I absolutely do. So the game that I'm going to talk about right now is actually on my YouTube channel for those of you that want to go back and review it. And my YouTube channel is Be Smarter Faster. So everybody wants to know how to be smarter faster.
Yes.
Now, for your kids, yes, it's good to tell them to read books and all, and pay attention to do schoolwork, but that's work. Nobody wants to do work. It's summertime.
Yeah.
What people want to do is they want to play. They want to have some fun. And so here is a game that I invented when my daughter was really little. She's 20 years old now and about to enter her junior year at Florida State University. But we would go to the beach. We would sit there, and I would say, all right, today we're going to make a list of things in the sky. Now, the list could be anything. You could do animals or food or colors or whatever. But this day we said we're going to do things that are in the sky, and I'm going to go first. And so I said, all right, sun. And she said, sun, moon. And then I said, sun, moon, star. And then she said, sun, moon, star, cloud. And then I said, sun, moon, star, cloud, bird. And we went back and forth like that until we tried to hit 20 objects on that list. Now, this does a couple of things for your children. First, it helps them pay attention to what's going on around them, because once we got down this list a little bit further, I mean, we talked about raindrops. Now, it was a sunny day, so she had to imagine that. And then she remembered having been up to New Jersey when she was really little, and then she talked about snow because she had seen it on TV and she had seen it in New Jersey. Now, obviously, we're at the beach in Florida, no snow. And then she saw some kids playing volleyball on the beach, and she said ball, because when the kids hit the ball, it was up in the air. So it qualified for our list. So it made her really observant about the world around us. And when you're repeating the list back and forth with each other, it becomes a competition, so it's fun. Yeah. It challenges your ability to remember the entire list. And by doing that, you really develop aspects and powers in your child's brain that they're not going to get anywhere else. They're certainly not going to get that, for the most part, in school. And that's why my catchphrase is, school tells you what to learn, Matt DiMaio teaches you how to learn it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great example, Matt, because a lot of times folks, parents are saying, oh, just grab this. They're just handing the kid some kind of device, and they're playing some little game, or they're, whatever, shooting something or bouncing, whatever the game is. But that's something that's interactive. You're bonding with your child. It can be done anywhere. You're in the car,
anywhere,
somewhere. It's teaching them to be observant. I love that.
And you actually hit the nail on the head. It can be done anywhere. I often would play that, as you pointed out, in the car with my daughter. Now, I'm sure you've played this on the boat, on your lake.
Right.
And so this is something that you can involve other children with. And it's fun even for the adults to do it, because the adults will find it just as challenging as the kids.
Right. I love that. So that's a great game. What other things can you do to keep your mind sharp? By the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with Matt DiMaio here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Sometimes called a memory expert. He likes to be known as Be Smarter Faster. That's his YouTube channel, youtube.com, Be Smarter Faster. He's got 153,000 subscribers on his channel as well, and he's got some great content on there. But what else can we do to keep our mind sharp?
Well, when we talk about how to be smarter, faster, there's really, when you want to be able to learn things fast, it really comes down to just a couple of basic elements. So the first one is visualization. Now, the greatest power that human beings are blessed with is imagination. All creation first starts as some form of an image or a visualization in your head. And so one of the things that I teach people to do, and young children are especially good at this, is to begin making clever, creative, outstanding pictures in their head about those things that they want to remember. And then the next step is connection. A lot of times people call it association. But if association were a good word, if it resonated with you, you'd be using it better. The truth is, people don't like association. It doesn't mean that much to them. But connection is a very good word. And if you look at the way little children learn, and you may think back to when your own daughter was really little, Brandon.
Yep.
She would say, "Daddy, you mean it's like," when she's learned something new, she goes, "Daddy, you mean it's like. Right. This is like that." There's a natural need in the human mind to want to connect new stuff to the stuff they already know. And that's, if we wanted to get really scientific about it, we could talk about the synapses and how they connect together. And so the bottom line is, I teach people how to triple their mental power in half the time by doing stuff that you're naturally good at anyway.
Wow.
This is not a bunch of stuff you have to practice, or it's not a bunch of stuff that's going to feel unnatural. In fact, I call it natural learning. It is the way our Creator built us.
Yes, exactly.
And so this plays right into something that feels good, it feels natural. You'll hear a lot of people talk about, they're terrible at remembering names, or they've got this report coming up at work, and they've got all the profit and loss information or information about customers. Wouldn't it be great to have everything right there in front of your mind, to be able to recall it instantly with confidence? Think what that could do for you.
I like it. Let's take a quick break here, Matt. When we come back, I want to ask you more about that, the terrible at remembering names. Also, Nate has a question for you as well in studio here. So we're going to talk to Matt DiMaio when we come back right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. Reach out, 813-750-consumerqb.com. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty here in Tampa Bay. Keller Williams, number one real estate company in the world, $400 billion in sales. We're a local team here in Tampa Bay, number one, top 1% ranked in the area. So out of 25,000 realtors, we're in the top 1%. So we got a hot listing here in Dunedin. This is 434 Skinner Boulevard in Dunedin. This is unit number 104. Now, this is a commercial property available for lease. So this is a commercial property on Skinner Boulevard in Dunedin. Prime opportunity here in Tampa Bay for a business owner looking to take advantage of that great location. We do have some properties available as well at commercial side, 1780 Clearwater Largo Road. This is another opportunity for you at 1780 Clearwater Largo Road. This property is a corner lot location. It's got a large building, and the owner's motivated. We just did a $5,000 price reduction as well at 1780 Clearwater Largo Road right here in Pinellas County. Great opportunity to own real estate in Tampa Bay. Corner lot location, 40,000 plus vehicles a day, 12 parking spots, 1780 Clearwater Largo Road. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And we give a quick shout out to Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance, and say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunham when you go visit them. Now, they offer a safe and effective way to restore your body's crucial systems, your body's systems with crucial vitamins, nutrients, enabling your body to perform at optimal conditions. I love to go in there once every 3 or 4 weeks and have a vitamin infusion drip directly into my bloodstream. All the good stuff going in there, and it's much more efficient than, of course, taking vitamins. So reach out to Replenish IV Solutions. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. All right, we have in studio today, we got Nathan Ginter, Chief Technology Officer at Vine IT. He's our local tech expert, all things tech here, vineit.com. And we are also on the line here with Matt DiMaio, memory expert here, and incrediblememory.com, and also youtube.com/be smarter faster. So let's pick up where we left off there, Matt. Some good stuff, man. I love how you were talking about the visualization and how our mind works. So you're kind of working with the flow of the water, right? We're going with the flow rather than against the stream here, working the way our creator made us.
That's a really good way to put it, working with the flow. And, I want to keep a promise that I made early in this conversation, and that is to talk a little bit about how to be more persuasive, or how to understand people a bit better. Is that okay for me to get into that now?
I love it. That's a great topic. Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. Well, now, this is not just for salespeople, but it could be for parents with their children, or children with their parents, or what have you. But a lot of times you want to get your point across, and I want to give you 6 steps for how somebody absorbs new information. Because this is going to be important not only for your ability to be persuasive, but for you to be able to learn anything faster. So the first time you get brand new information, totally new information, your mind rejects it. Your mind says, nope, I reject that idea. And now, if I'm allowed to listen to some of your audience members' thoughts, they're going, not me, Matt. I don't reject new ideas. I'm very open-minded, which kind of proves my point. Number 2, the second exposure to that same idea, the mind lets it in a little bit and says, well, maybe that's true, but not for me. So it opens up and then shuts down. Maybe, not me. The third step is it might work. It might, then again, it might not. The fourth step is agreement. Oh, I get it. The fifth step is, I can do it. I can do something with that idea. And the last step, where you have mastery of it, is I taught it to somebody else, because you can't give it away unless you have it to begin with. So the last step is I taught it. All right, so now, in terms of being persuasive, it's important to understand to really listen to the words somebody is using when they're talking to you and they disagree with your point of view. Are they flat out just no, absolutely not, that idea is horrible, it's terrible, it'll never work? Well, that's pretty clear that that's step one, rejection. Mm-hmm. You are unlikely to move somebody from step one of rejection all the way to step 4 of agreement in a single occurrence, in a single time. It's unlikely to happen. There's too much space to cover. Mm-hmm. The second, sometimes somebody will have heard this idea before somewhere, maybe seen something on TV or on the internet, and they'll go, yeah, maybe that's a good idea, but not for me. Now you're closer to agreement. So you need to listen to the words. They're still shutting you down, but it's a different level of no. No is not no. Mm-hmm. There are different stages of no, different shades. So maybe but not for me is a softer no than no.
Yeah, it's kind of like
the third one.
Let me interject something there, Matt. Matt, in one of the negotiation books I talk about, or I read and teach on, it's suspend unbelief. So it's very similar to what you're saying. If you can suspend the road to a potential agreement. Perfect.
That's a really, now see, I hadn't even thought of phrasing it that way before, but that's good.
Yeah.
See, now, as a salesperson or as a parent looking to persuade a kid or vice versa, what you're listening for is the third step. It might work. This is where they argue with you. It might not. It might not. See, the very next step is agreement. So now you've only got to move them one step in the chain, but it might and it might not is really close to agreement, and that's where the money is to be made. That's where the persuasion needs to take place. So if you don't even know that there's a process going on, all of that's invisible to you. By the way, have this conversation with yourself when you're learning something new and ask yourself, what step am I on?
Yeah.
Am I trying to learn a foreign language or learn some new mathematics or new computer program? What step am I on if I'm struggling?
Right. Yeah, and how can you move to the next? We got about a minute left, Matt. Final thought to you, my friend.
Well, all this stuff is great to talk about, but it's another thing altogether to be able to have a practical way to implement it. And that's the reason I created a short video course called An Incredible Memory. And it is at, interestingly enough, anincrediblememory.com.
Yes.
And what I do is I literally walk people through the process, bit by bit, on how do you remember names and what's causing the problem, and how do you remember numerical information, because there's so much profit and loss, formulas, addresses, highway numbers. How do you remember where you put your keys, your eyeglasses, where you parked your car? And I do it in all short, bite-sized videos at anincrediblememory.com.
That's awesome, man. Very good stuff. I appreciate that. Very good content. And also youtube.com/Be Smarter Faster. Matt DiMaio, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for spending time with us. All right, coming up, we got Nathan Ginter in the house, Chief Technology Officer, Vine IT. Going to talk about some cool stuff happening, find out about this Super Mario game that sold for $1.56 million. Find out about that, plus some really good tips coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Johnny, let me know when you want to proceed. I couldn't hear you. All right, everyone stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We love to help you win in your real estate deals. If you're buying, selling, or investing, reach out. We are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air as well on the program. We've got some hot properties here in Tampa Bay. How about 607 South Willow? This is in South Tampa. It's the Plant High School District. Beautiful property, 607 South Willow. This is a duplex that we have listed right here in South Tampa. Great opportunity to own real estate, possibly hook it up with a 1031 exchange as well. Almost 2,700 square feet, historic duplex home in the middle of Hyde Park. Split apartment, upstairs, downstairs. Both have 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. Plant High School District, great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And give a quick shout out to our veteran gutters, Brandon Porter and his team over at Veteran Gutters, American-made products, and he is a veteran as well. Support the veterans out there. Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter, American-made products, and I trusted him with our home, and you can trust him too. All right, we got Nathan Ginter back in studio here, Chief Technology Officer. I love you got a great lineup here of topics to talk about. So if you do have a device stolen laptop, iPad, different technology, that's got to be it's kind of like leaving your wallet at home or your cell phone at home. You're like, wait, where did it go?
It's one of the most frightening things that can happen, especially for a variety of reasons. But one of the things that people aren't aware of is there's a couple of things you can do, right now for everybody at home who, maybe that is not happening to you right now, but you want to make sure, hey, in the event that I do have something stolen from me, how can I minimize the damage and make sure that I have access to things that cut that access off quickly?
Right.
10 years ago, this was the stuff that you had to pay a ton of money for, and you had to have different tracking software and things, in place to really shut off access if you don't have access to the machine anymore. Whereas now, both Microsoft and Apple have things built in. So I always recommend, if you're using a Windows-based PC, especially if it's for personal use, make sure you're using a Microsoft 365 account, a Microsoft Online account to sign into that laptop. Because when you do that, you get access to a couple of cool features. One of which is, if you've ever used like the Find My Device in Android or an iPhone, it'll tell you, because it might just be behind the couch, or hey, with how small and light these things are, I've seen crazy stuff happen. My buddy had one stuck in a futon. He didn't even know it was there.
Oh boy!
So it can actually pinpoint where the access is coming from the next time that machine is turned on or goes out to the internet, which is a really nice feature to have. That's in the account settings in Microsoft and in devices and security on the Apple side of things, and that works for both phones and for your tablets and things like that, depending whether you're iOS or there's also a similar feature in Android. I'm a Google Pixel guy myself.
Yep.
So those things are it's nice to know you've got that capability to look those up. But what we're really concerned about is data loss. Now, I'm going to break that into 2 categories. Stuff, we'll call it files, pictures, that sort of thing, actual physical files that are on your device. And then there's the information segment, which many of us out there are saving our passwords when we log into things, so we don't have to look them up each time. Well, if somebody gets access to your account, guess what? They've got access to your saved passwords too. On the Windows side of things, one of the really cool things you can do, aside from just your username and password, you can set up an account PIN. So I do this just as a shortcut, so that way, whenever I'm trying to do something administratively, I don't have to type in this big, long, complex password. you hit a couple of keys and boom, you're in. It makes it very, very quick and efficient.
Yes.
The nice thing about that is that it actually on the new Microsoft browser, it actually protects those passwords. So without that PIN, they can't get in and take a look at that. The other thing that you can do, which is really cool, is if you're using either, again, this advice applies to both things, but we see it more on the Windows side. You can actually change your Windows password, online on another computer, and then somebody tries to open up that browser where you're signed into, that password is no longer good, so those options don't even show up for them.
Okay.
So you've gotten rid of those things. So even if you've been to a bank account web page before, they can't just, go to AmericanExpress.com and, use that autofill. That won't work for them anymore because of that. So those are things that are really nice. Now, on the file side of things, what I recommend people do is rather than storing things just on your local computer, whether you're saving it to your desktop or your documents folder, use there's different syncing services out there, but Apple has My Files. We've got OneDrive. Whether for business or SharePoint on the Windows side, store your files in locations that are backed up there, so that you can A, turn off access to that remotely if there is something that goes wrong, and B, hey, let's assume the laptop wasn't lost. Maybe it fell down a ravine somewhere. You still need that data back either way. This gives you a very quick and easy way. You get when you go get a new machine, you sign back in with the sync tool, and it pulls all your files and pictures and videos back down for you automatically. My new setup time, I've gotten it down. I'm all in OneDrive for my business and personal stuff at this point. And, when I get a new machine, it takes me about, 30 minutes realistically to get signed in and set up. And it takes a little time for everything to download or to sync, but you'll have it all there. And it really does help make that a much less painful process because, even, whether it's lost or stolen, hey, these machines just die sometimes too. And you don't want to be, caught with, your reliance on everything being there. Two other quick points that I'll make as far as passwords go, depending on the browser, even though there is some good security out there for them that's evolving, I recommend using something like LastPass or OneKey that they'll actually keep track of those for you. The cool thing about them is they actually remove, if you change the password, you can actually deactivate individual devices in your LastPass account. So if something, whether it's a phone or a laptop, gets stolen, you can actually turn off the access for it to do this, so that it never even hits the browser. There's nothing there to steal out of a hack. So sophisticated hacker gets a hold of it. There's nothing there for them to take, which is pretty cool.
That's great.
And the second one, let's say you're dealing with, you've got some really high priority data for some reason that you're, keeping on your laptop and you're really worried about it. If you need to know where that device is, there's a service called LoJack for laptops that is really cool. That actually uses your motherboard itself. There's actually a program built in at the operating system level, and you can find, even without, let's say somebody grabs your laptop and wipes it out and, quote unquote, never connects to the internet until they wipe it. It's actually always there resident in memory, so you can usually find the thief even if they've already wiped the laptop.
Wow.
And the police will actually take LoJack for laptop data as actionable. We've actually retrieved a few laptops that have gone missing that way in the past. So I tell people, obviously, if it's just something, you're bumming around on, or you have good backups, there might not be sense in paying for it. But if you've got a very expensive one, some of those laptops get upwards of, $2,500 to $3,000, a high powered machine.
Yeah.
You might not be willing to see that walk out the door.
Right.
So always a good one to have in the back pocket there.
Well, that's awesome, Nate. When as you were speaking to our producers, John is putting a lot of information up from your website. I see you've got a lot of just great information on your website as well.
Yeah, that's true. This is actually an article that I pulled, but I'm going to take credit for it.
There you go.
So yeah, no.
There you go.
But
Take credit for it.
They've got actual screenshots up there of the actual interface and where you can go and click and what to do. Even when you're talking to the authorities and your bank if you need to, if there's any sort of suspicious activity. So a lot of great info up there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of times you just don't really know where to start with this stuff.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people don't know as well, because we talk about ransomware and these things. If you're a business owner out there and you get hit with ransomware, if you get a demand for more than $100,000, call the FBI right away. They get involved with any request of over 100,000. You will have a team working with you to help make that go away if possible. Sometimes we're able to decrypt it. Sometimes they can actually work with you on actually doing a sting on the person who may have put that ransomware out there.
Wow, that'd be good.
And we have a local field office right here in Tampa Bay. So.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen those folks firsthand. I came out of my home one time, and they were actually arresting somebody in the neighborhood, and I was like, "Whoa, man!"
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was interesting.
Hopefully, it wasn't for any explosves related issues.
No, it was. I think it was related to the drug industry.
Well, that's a popular industry.
Yeah. And very interesting. I was like, well, okay, yeah, local field office. By the way, I've had I mentioned Chris Voss on the show, and I mentioned it to the gentleman, and he said, "Yeah, I know Chris. So he's pretty famous within that organization. He's a former hostage negotiator.
Yeah,
and I base a lot of my negotiation stuff on him.
I feel like there was a movie based on one of his negotiations real recently. I can't remember what it is, but
really?
it's something I caught on Netflix, and he a lot of his tactics and things that he did were things that obviously they have their standards and training that they all go through, but he seemed like he had sort of an evolution on a lot of those, that his success rate was like through the roof compared to the average negotiator, which is already highly trained. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, super cool guy, super great content. He's got an awesome book out there. Never Split the Difference is the name of the book.
I've actually got that on my reading list.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, more tips from Nate Ginter here. He's the Chief Technology Officer, Vine IT. Give us a tease. What are we going to talk about on the flip side?
Sure. So we'll be talking a little bit about how to get started with cybersecurity for your business, a couple of first steps to take, and what to look for in a cybersecurity assessor.
Plus, we have our feel-good story of the day and find out about this really cool thing happening in Sarasota, literacy event hosted by police, Housing Authority, and libraries. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back, Brandon Rhymes. Thanks for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate you spending some time here with us on the radio, potentially. Maybe you're listening to our 4 o'clock drive time on AM 860 The Answer, or maybe our Sunday show, 7 a.m. 1025 The Bone. We got also lots of syndicated content on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, as well as our social channels. We're streaming live as well to Facebook. We stream to Twitter, YouTube as well. You can see a lot of content on our website, consumerqb.com. We greatly appreciate you hanging out with us here, supporting the show, supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. Over 50 different show partners that we bring on, and we vet, and we have lots of special guests from time to time as well. But we greatly appreciate you hanging out with us and supporting the show by reaching out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. Anybody you hear on the program, we'd love to introduce you to them, of course. They are local small business owners here in Tampa Bay, 813-750-0550. Every day we tell you something good here in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so a number of Sarasota agencies partnered Wednesday to host Books and Badges, an annual literacy event that provides free books to low-income children. The Sarasota Police Department partnered with the Sarasota Housing Authority, Sarasota County Libraries, and the Book Rich Environments Collaborative to recognize the campaign for grade-level readings, National Summer Program, Learning Week. And according to a news release from Sarasota Police, officers handed out several books to children ages 3 to 17 at Sarasota Housing Families Public Housing Campus. And also, in addition to handing out free books, the goal was to provide a positive interaction with the Sarasota Police, fostering relationships and trust, said the police department. Two of our core passions at the Sarasota Housing are early childhood education and breaking down the trust walls between our families and local law enforcement. Books and Badges goes on to talk about how they're moving the needle, says William, CEO of the Sarasota Housing Authority. All right, there's your feel-good story of the day. Good stuff out of Sarasota, just south of most of our listening audience here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we have Nate Ginter in the house. Nathan Ginter, he's the Chief Technology Officer, Vine IT, our tech corner expert, local expert here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Take it away.
Sure, Brandon. So one of the things that I get asked all the time, is, hey, cybersecurity, what does that actually mean? What is it? What do I need to do to protect my business? And there's very long-winded answers to it, but very short. Cybersecurity is an ongoing process. So just like accounts payable, accounts receivable, getting those invoices in, whether you got to get them paid or receive money, that's not something that you just do and then you're done. That's something that is a constant, ongoing thing for your business. And security really is the same thing. And there's a lot of different moving pieces to it, but the first step on the journey is really making sure you have something called a risk assessment done.
Yeah.
So the risk assessment is going to tell you a couple of things. It's going to tell you where you're at. A good risk assessment should also include some recommendations for improvement, and from there you can kind of build your template on how to move forward in your business. What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? There's a lot of very simple things out there. I call it kind of my top 10 hit list that I go through in every review, regardless of what standard I'm using. I myself am certified through a company called ISACA for doing cybersecurity auditing. I've been doing it for 15 years across all kinds of verticals. So a doctor's office might come to me one day, insurance agency, law office the next. And you would think that those are very different businesses, but really the concept is the same.
Right.
They've all got a business to run
while
they're trying to protect important data. So it always boils down to a couple of basics, and the real question is always, have we ever put any actual thought into security? So as a business owner, if somebody came to me and they go, do you guys have a security plan, a security program? And I go, well, of course I'm in IT, so I say yes, of course. But if I'm a doctor, I may go, I think my IT guy does that. I mean, I've got antivirus. I've heard of these things before. A security program is going to define how you're doing things, give you a good organizational overview of here's how we accomplish making sure our machines are updated and secure. Here's how we make sure that they're protected for antivirus and things like that. And that risk assessment is going to go over that and see if there's any deficiencies there, any holes. Because one of the things that's very easy to do is to put a process in place and assume that that's going to work forever.
Right.
You would be surprised how many places we go into where we find a backup that hasn't run for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, I've got a backup for that system. And I go, well, when we looked into it, actually, it is there, but it's a year and a half old.
Wow.
So, something stopped working a long time ago and no one got an alert or got notified about it. Maybe there was nobody in charge of that.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things that we see from time to time. And the really cool piece is showing people, that there are so many things out there, so many different services nowadays that take a lot of those risks away from the company and the individual, and really provide those notifications and things that you need. And one of we were talking with the memory expert today about how the first step is always denial on a piece of information, but the hard part is to tell people your IT company isn't responsible for your organizational security. The business owner or the operating managers are.
It starts there. It starts at the top.
Exactly, and making sure for legally sometimes that's actually the case. So you can't if you're running a doctor's office, for example, I can't say that my office manager is my designated security chief. It has to be one of the principal owners of the doctor's practice.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question on these topics, because what percentage of businesses have major flaws in these areas of cybersecurity and the risk assessment?
A shocking amount.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is really basic things. So one of the things that is interesting is so the number one target is people in some sort of thing related to financial services. So it could be insurance, could be title companies, anybody that's dealing with personal credit card information. And the interesting thing about that is you would figure from the news these targets must be these huge corporations. 70% of cyber attacks are against businesses with 50 or fewer employees.
Because they think it's a better target.
It is a better target.
Yeah.
So the larger, the more complex, like the payday is bigger, but the scale of difficulty for accessing that information is, there's a lot more soft targets in the smaller businesses. And that's one of the messages, we really try to get out there is to say, hey, it's not expensive to get a good assessment of your business. It doesn't always mean that you're going to have the budget to repair everything right away, but knowing where those holes are can really help. And a lot of times, like I said, our specialty is small business. So when I'm working with a ton of people where I go, you wouldn't believe how cheap it will be to fix these gaping holes. Sometimes it's just a matter of using a better technology that's going to help you more, anyway. It's going to increase your business productivity on top of that. So
it's like that commercial, man. The guy has not the OxyClean, it's the new guy that's doing like the glue stuff. So he's on the boat, and he brings out the can, and he fixes the hole in the boat, man. You're doing this technology wise, people are cruising down the across the pond or the lake, and they have these holes in their boat. You can help them plug these holes relatively affordable.
Absolutely. And so, obviously we have the IT side of things where we take care of everybody, soup to nuts. But, cybersecurity auditing is a major pull of what we do as well. And, we make sure that people not just get a list of what's wrong, but also specifically how to fix them. Right. And you don't have to use us for that. Maybe you have an IT guy that you're already working with that you're happy with. We have... we do audits for everybody from literally 5 employee practices up to crazy large organizations. I did one for a 12,000 employee company last year, and it was interesting how much of the same things apply. They just scale up a little higher. It's kind of funny.
Wow. So one of the stories we teased a little bit earlier, it says, how's this for a high score? A rare copy of the Nintendo 64 game Super Mario 64 sold at auction for $1.56 million, according to Heritage Auctions, which located the auction and sold the property. So Super Mario 64.
Yeah. So I'm always coming in with these doom and gloom stories or how to protect yourself from all this stuff. It's like I'm bringing something fun today.
Yeah, that was good.
So Super Mario 64 actually, if you remember when Nintendo 64 came out, it was one of the first like 3D gaming consoles. It was really cool.
Yeah.
That came with this game, Super Mario 64. But because those games were like $70 when they first came out, and everybody wanted to play Super Mario, so everybody ripped open the console. Then the second thing you rip open is the box.
Yeah.
So you can find copies of Super Mario for like $10 online, but in the box, unopened, never touched by human hands, there was somebody who was smart enough to have it graded.
Wow.
And it went for $1.5 million at auction. And
holy cow! Who would be a buyer for that? By the way?
So there are people who there's people now that are basically building private technology museums. So I think unopened iPads. I think the first iPod signed by Steve Jobs actually went for tens of millions of dollars, but an unopened iPod goes for like $10,000. It's pretty crazy.
That's interesting.
That is the whole nobody ever touched it thing.
Right.
It's still in pristine gem mint 10 condition.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got about 20 seconds left. Give us your best contact info, Nate.
Absolutely. So I am Nate Ginter, CTO of Vine IT. You can find us at vineit.com. That's vineit.com. Please check out our website. You can schedule a free consultation if you have any technology questions for your business or are interested in maybe learning a little bit more about a cyber assessment.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, great content today. Appreciate you bringing those stories in. Those topics were right on point. A lot of people need to hear that. And great show today. We heard as well from Matt DiMaio on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we always want you to go out there and be a force for good in the community, do something kind for one another, and consider committing a random act of kindness. You can donate some blood, donate some time. Lots of ways to be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you stop by and check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.